Howdy-o and welcome to Rauta's beer review. For a while, it's been indeed a while since I have done the last beer review, and beer reviews are all about metal when they're on Rauta, right? So it's time to have a taste with this beer, which is non-alcoholic beer or alcohol-free. I got a couple of samples from Saimaa Brewing Company. You can pretty much read it here. I will just enjoy one of these beers here. The later one I will save. Welcome to Rauta's beer review. It's been a while since the last time I actually had any beer on Rauta. Maybe because there hasn't been any interesting metal band beers out, or maybe they just have lost connection with those breweries. Anyway, be it as it may, here we have a couple of Mokoma beers from Saimaa Brewing Company. I will actually just have one of these here previously untasted, because the latter one I will save for a dinner or something like that to enjoy with the food. So you will obviously have kind of my first impression, a reaction, if you will, for this beer. Now, Mokoma is a Finnish kind of a thrash metal band, probably not so known outside Finland. I'm just merely guessing because their language is in Finnish. I mean, how they sing their music and all that. But in Finland, they are a relatively known band, and now they have their own beer. For some reason, the camera can't really read these colors. It's a little bit hard combination, but it says here alcohol-free beer. So this is non-alcoholic beer from Saimaa Brewing Company. And about that brewery, well, it is one of those kind of a craft beer companies in Finland that actually makes some nice beers. And now they have teamed up with Mokoma, which is actually from part of the country, which is connected to Saimaa, well, or at least relatively nearby. As you can see, this is alcohol-free beer, which says underneath it's a hedelmäinen ruis IPA. So it's rye IPA, IPA standing for India Pale Ale, relatively hoppy type of English type of beer, which is one of my favorite types. And it says this is kind of a fruity. It's kind of a hard to describe to people who are not beer drinkers, but obviously why would people who are not beer drinkers even watch the video? But fruity in terms means kind of, it has this kind of a fruity flavor which stands out from your typical lager beers, the most enjoyed beer type in the world, which is more refreshing when it's just fridge cold and all that stuff, but doesn't have the kind of a strong taste. It's more about having really light taste, not as light as the light lagers, but you get the idea. It's more about thirst quenching type of beverage than, you know, being kind of a taste bud relieving enjoyment when it comes to your mind, blah blah blah. Anyway, all the information here is in Swedish and Finnish, obviously, because this is made for Finnish markets. So I don't even know if this is available outside Finland, but nevertheless, we're gonna give it a go here. As you can see, this is 1/3 of a liter, and well, almost pure alcohol-free. Usually, that is not a good sign for IPAs, because IPAs tend to have this thing that when there is alcohol, it gives this kind of a flavor that is not there without it. For example, one of my favorite breweries, Brewdog, had this Nanny State beer, which kind of starts nicely with its hoppiness, bringing those fruity flavors on the top of your tongue. But when that is gone, there is no aftertaste. It's just like ends like, which is not a good thing in my opinion. But obviously, sometimes you have situations when things are cold for alcohol beer. Even me, a big beer lover, craft beer lover especially, I have my moments when I just hope that there is some good alcohol-free beer, because sometimes I'm just driving my car to a gig and then I'm supposed to have a couple of good beers, but it's usually either not available, or if there's an alcohol-free beer, it just tastes like crap. So thumbs up that this will be any better. I have my beer glass here, which is from competing brand, but don't make a mistake. There was only water in the glass. I had to just give it a little bit of flushing before going on. So let's just pop the cap. What a nice sound, isn't it? It always brings kind of these first bubbles on the top of my tongue. So let's start giving this a go. It's a middle of work day. I'm supposed to do working, but here it is. I'm gonna enjoy this beer. And this is like half the can here, and the rest is here. And it's pretty beautiful. Obviously, the color is not the same on the camera as it is here. Obviously, as light is coming from the window, to me it looks way more yellowish. Not that brownish as you can see probably in the video. If I move it a little bit here, you can probably see the correct color, especially against this white wall or fireplace there. All right, let's give this one a go. No, first mistake. I didn't give it a proper smelling. I could actually, just before I tasted and noticed my mistake, I could have this kind of a fruity taste already in my nose. Why I say taste? Because obviously how you smell is related to how you taste. Basic biology, but in case you missed that in school. Anyway, the thing here is this kind of brings that fruitiness already in your nose, in your nasal caverns or whatever they're called, and you kind of get this feeling that this is no like lager beer. Now that the first tasting is done, I already have this kind of a aftertaste. The taste that actually is left on your tongue, you know, to kind of the first initial taste is already gone and like bye, and now I can still have this feeling like a thin cover of ice on my mouth or my tongue, and it feels nice. It's not very tasty and hoppy like it is with with those alcoholic ones, but it's kind of like really light and a little bit sweet. Now with proper second attempt, you can really feel that light hoppiness there and this kind of a fruitiness which separates this from your typical IPAs, which are way more bitter. So this is more like on the sweet and definitely on the fruity side of IPAs. And now I can still feel the hoppiness in my mouth, which is definitely a plus, considering that so many alcoholic free beers. I mean, like I don't usually have those, and I haven't drank that many, but basically every non-alcoholic beer that I've enjoyed, they're more or less the type of beer that is like you just drink it and you don't taste a thing. Now I can still feel the happiness kind of growing in my mouth. It's like seeping in on the top of my mouth, and with the second taste it kind of keeps building on this taste, which is definitely a good thing. Now the funny thing is this is very very light. That is, the taste is not that thick. It's kind of easy to just kind of flushes over, and then it goes down the throat and all that stuff. But you actually have this kind of a hoppiness building up, which is a good thing, obviously. It's kind of hard to describe when you're actually just drinking something. But I must say, this is a positive surprise, definitely. Obviously, the so-called aftertaste is not that much here as it would have been if this was, I don't know, a little bit stronger, maybe 5, 6, even 7% strong. But given that this is alcohol-free, this might just be the best alcohol-free beer I've had so far. It's not a real killer, but that comes with the territory. I mean, if you don't have alcohol in it, it's not gonna taste the same. No matter how you wanna put it, how you wanna think about it. But I mean, beer is, after all, made with alcohol. Now you remove that from the context, it is as if you had a great metal band, but you didn't have any vocalist, or maybe you didn't have drums. So it kind of comes with the territory, and it is a vital part of that thing. So obviously, alcohol-free beers are always compromised. I mean, if it wasn't, we would already have like alcohol-free whiskeys and all that stuff. But it doesn't really work like that. So at best, you know, we have beers like this. It's non-alcoholic, so it's possible for me to drive a car and not get a fine for it or crash in a tree. But it also lets me to enjoy the quality beer. Now, I'm sure this would be a lot better if it had that alcohol in it. But given that this is not the purpose of this beer, I would say this is something that you definitely should give it a go. At least I'm enjoying it, and I'm gonna finish this right after this video just on my own and continuing with my work. But anyway, doesn't matter if you are a fan of the band or even if you hate the band, this is something you should give it a go. It's a nice tasting IPA, non-alcoholic, so definitely something worthwhile. Cheers, salute, come by, skål, natsrovi, slange, and the rest of those fine cheers words. Take care and drink some good beer.